This chart has a hidden message for you. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Bitcoin market dominance because there's actually a lot of very fascinating technical facts hidden in this chart that give us a much better understanding of the cycle that Bitcoin is in. Where is Bitcoin in the whole Bitcoin and altcoin cycle? I've talked about this idea of the altcoin engine before, where sometimes Bitcoin's in charge, sometimes the altcoins are in charge, and they pass the baton back and forth like a relay race, and together they drive forward the total market capitalization. At the moment, Bitcoin is the one holding the baton, but could that be about to transition to the altcoins? And if so, what are some of those altcoin opportunities that we could be looking out for? If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We're looking today at a chart called BTC.D, which shows the market capitalization of Bitcoin's dominance. You can see that Bitcoin's dominance is currently sitting at 42.84%. You're probably more familiar with this chart over on CoinMarketCap by going up here to dominance and clicking this. You can see Bitcoin's currently sitting around 42%, and you scroll down and you will see Bitcoin's market dominance right here. But over on TradingView, you might not have known there actually is a way to chart this with candlesticks, and there's actually a lot of very interesting information here. The first thing I want to do is I want to paint you a picture of the bull markets and bear markets that Bitcoin has been through. Let's go ahead and draw a vertical line at the end of the 2017 bear market, or the end of the 2017 bull market, excuse me, right here. You can see during the bull market, the altcoins gathered a massive amount of market dominance. How do we know that? Well, the market dominance of Bitcoin collapsed in 2017 as the altcoin space ran and the ICO bubble grew. This was also during the time of the block size wars, where you had other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Cash come out that also took away from the market dominance of Bitcoin. We also saw the building of the Ethereum network, and Ethereum hit 4 figures for the very first time towards the end of that year. So what we see is that during the bull market of 2016-17, looking at the exact same time, we're looking at this period of history right here. What you see is that as Bitcoin is running, the altcoins are running too, and the altcoins are actually gathering a lot of dominance. You can see they rallied and gained dominance all the way through this time. Bitcoin started 2017 at 85%, but by the end of 2017 was sitting at 32%. The altcoins gathered a lot of dominance. But then in 2018 and 2019, you can see that Bitcoin had a resurgence in dominance and rallied all the way up to 73%. So what's the point here? Well, during 2016's and 17's bull market, you saw that the altcoins gathered dominance, and then that dominance was taken away from Bitcoin. So whenever we're in a bull market, we have seen that Bitcoin has lost dominance to the altcoin space. I'm going to explain why here in a second, but it's important to establish the facts of the case first. But then if we also look at the exact same chart, again, we're going to go to BTC.D, we will be able to see that during 2018 and 2019, this market, the total market capitalization dominance chart, actually gained. Bitcoin saw a resurgence in dominance all the way up to 72%. During that same time, we saw that Bitcoin was in a bear market in between 2018 and 2019, and the altcoins were not doing very, very well. Instead, during a bear market, we saw that the altcoins lost dominance to Bitcoin. What does this mean? Well, I'm about to explain why this matters, but first, what does it mean? It means that whenever Bitcoin is in an uptrend, oftentimes the altcoins outpace Bitcoin. Oftentimes, whenever Bitcoin rallies 100%, the altcoins will rally 150%. Whenever Bitcoin rallies 10%, the altcoins will rally 15%. You can think of the altcoins like an enthusiastic child walking with their mother. Their mother is walking down the road, and the child bolts off and runs ahead of them, but then comes back, of course. The altcoins do the same thing. Whenever Bitcoin is moving in one direction, the altcoins tend to move in the same direction, but they move a little bit faster. Now, the reason that this is important is because whenever you see Bitcoin start to gain dominance, oftentimes that actually indicates bearishness in the space. Why? Well, let me explain a concept called risk on and risk off. This is a concept that is traditionally used in traditional markets, and essentially it goes as the following. Whenever markets are scary, people want to hold on to their risk off assets and get rid of their risk on assets. So let's make up a metric, and let's say stocks have a risk metric, and it's from 1 to 100. If it's 100, it's extremely risky. If it's 1, it's not very risky at all. If the market is not doing very well and the investor is scared and anxious, they're going to get rid of all of their 70, 80, 90 risk value stocks because they want to get rid of the risk. They want to be more conservative. They want to hold on to their pearls, and they want to conserve what they have. So they'll get rid of their risk off. You'll see where I'm going with this. In a time of plenty, of abundance, where investors feel confident, they will invest in risk-on assets because oftentimes the more risky assets will also have higher returns. So what does that mean for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? Well, in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, for the people in this industry, I'm not talking about hedge funds and institutional investors and traders in the traditional space investing in Bitcoin. I'm talking specifically about people that would call themselves crypto folk. They see the altcoins as a risk-on investment. Basically what that means is that they need to feel safe, the investor and the trader in crypto. They need to feel safe, secure, hopeful, and maybe a little bit of FOMO to want to get into the altcoin space because they perceive the altcoins as more risky. They're not as proven. They're not at one point a $1.4 trillion market capitalization like Bitcoin that has 13 years of proof, millions of users. The altcoins are typically more risky. However, in a time like right now, what you actually see is that people are very risk off. They want to hold on to their pearls. They want to clutch them. They want to maintain their feeling of safety and security. So they tend not to invest in the altcoins. Why does all of this matter? Well, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, what we can see is that the Bitcoin dominance is on a historic drop from 74% at the beginning of 2021 all the way down to where it is right now to 42.58%. That tells us that people are getting more and more excited and more trusting of the altcoin space. And I would say that this is not, in this case, a sign of a bull market so much as it is a sign of the case that the altcoin space is maturing and that people are starting to view the altcoin space as a little bit less risk on as they used to. Why is this important? Well, the reason it's important is because for the longest time in the history of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin was the only perceived non-risky asset or the only perceived least risky asset. But now that you're seeing the maturation of the Ethereum space, of the Cardano space, of the Solana space, of the Avalanche space, of the Luna space, of all these different projects that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, sometimes individually, but definitely collectively, investors are starting to see that there is now a blue chip sector of altcoins. Instead of Bitcoin being the only blue chip, now people are starting to see Ethereum as a blue chip, or XRP as a blue chip, or Luna, or Cardano, or Solana, or Avalanche as a blue chip. What's a blue chip? It's just a cryptocurrency that you can trust. It might not have the highest returns, but it's going to be pretty stable into the future. This shows a seismic shift in the market psychology of Bitcoin. Basically, it tells us that investors are starting to trust in more than just Bitcoin, and that adds a level of rigidity to the market. You see, steel is so powerful because it has a little bit of carbon in it. Iron is not used in skyscrapers because it's not as strong. It is the marriage between iron and carbon that creates steel, and they're stronger together. When you have a spider's web, there are all kinds of connections to the wall or the tree or whatever it's on. There's not just one connection the whole web's hanging from. There's like 50 of them. So if you sever one of them, the spider web is still strong. Cryptocurrency had an Achilles heel before, and that was if Bitcoin got hit by some massive FUD, the entire industry took a massive drop. However, what we're seeing now, and we see it in the dominance charts, and through the dominance charts, we understand the psychology. What we're seeing now is that people are starting to view Ethereum, Binance Coin, XRP, Terra, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, all these projects as blue chips. They're starting to see them as almost as least risky as Bitcoin, almost as safe as Bitcoin. And that, my friends, is the purpose of this video, is to make sure you understand that that is a very minor change, seemingly, that has huge implications. Because instead of seeing 85 to 90% drops on Bitcoin now, what we may start to see is, one, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and XRP start to decouple and detether a little bit, and one can go in a rally without the other. That's a trend that I think we'll see in the next 10 years. But on top of that, it also means that the cryptocurrency industry is transitioning into the cryptocurrency sector, and everything doesn't have to move together. So if Bitcoin goes through a bear market, it doesn't necessarily mean that Ethereum does. It means that the entire industry can have massive, large opportunities that consist of very large runs on the market that we wouldn't have seen before because everything followed Bitcoin. So why am I talking about market dominance here? The reason I'm talking about market dominance is because I want you to realize that there's a hidden message in it. And that hidden message is that there is maturity going on behind the scenes in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that has really expedited itself over the last 4 months. So if you're wondering, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's crashing, Bitcoin's just sitting at $40,000 not doing anything, you're wrong. It is doing something. It is showing that the entire industry, its movements are no longer just predicated on Bitcoin. Instead, the industry is maturing in such a way that Ethereum is able to succeed even if Bitcoin doesn't. Cardano is able to rally even if Bitcoin doesn't, and that's one of the biggest changes that we have seen in this sector that we call cryptocurrency in the last 18 months. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the other hidden messages that might be in Bitcoin's market dominance and its charts. What do you think that the charts are trying to scream at us about mass psychology, about investor sentiment, and about the future of the industry? What do you think this industry is going to look like in 10 years? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on all of our social medias. You will find those down below. We're at CryptoJeb or at CryptoJeb Official on all platforms. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing because we're trying to help you become financially free in these cryptocurrency markets. And also, consider following us on Twitter at CryptoJeb for more updates on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Peace.